Hello and welcome to Brand X Reviews. Very quick introduction here. Today's video we're going to be talking over Skype. Myself and my co-reviewer, The Core, are going to be talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife. It's a bit late in the day to be doing a review of the movie, but The Core only just got to see this for the first time himself recently, and I never did really do a full spoiler review. So this is kind of that. It's a bit more of a relaxed format. We're just two guys chatting over Skype. But either way, I realise it's something that's just come out recently on video, so it's something to talk about anyway. Here's the video.
Second. So yeah, you might remember back in late 2019 we did a video that day when the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer dropped, and I think we were both fairly positive about it at the time, and we were disappointed. So for context, I went to the cinema to see it back in November. The Core, who is here, has only just recently in the last week watched it when it came out on home video. So I had my stuff to say about it in a non-spoiler review, but I didn't go any further. So now we can get into spoilers all these months later, and also The Core. You can say what you think about this.
Hey.
Well, yeah, you do know we're recording, right?
Yeah, that was insightful commentary, Core. Thank you.
Yeah, so The Core is stoned, unfortunately. He's been doing shrooms all day.
Well,
Come on,
let's
man,
see with that, because my usual anger is no longer allowed. I'm not allowed to swear in this review, so
Well, yeah,
I'll have to be high instead.
We've been dropping F-bombs and C-bombs in the last few videos, but
it's fine. Our corporate sponsors have complained, so I'm going to be doing the sci-fi approach. I'll be saying F-in instead.
But yeah, so going back to the original question, yeah, so you were happy with Ghostbusters Afterlife?
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah. So obviously it's not Ghostbusters 3. I mean, technically it is Ghostbusters 3, but it's
got much more of a claim to that than Ghostbusters 2016. It does actually follow on.
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, that's because the problem with that was they kind of marketed that from the beginning with that first trailer, was it 30 years ago? Four scientists when they weren't.
It's like cut to that scene from Man of Steel. Wrong.
Yeah. Well, Superman Returns, just to be pedantic, but yeah. So we did talk about the box set as well, didn't we? We can maybe just have a few little final thoughts on that after this. But yeah, so the film itself, obviously, they've kept away from having it's the men versus the women or whatever. They just went with, well, this is children, and if anything, the main character is a female, Egon's granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And she did really well in this. She was a really good character. She was very believable. You actually bought that she was Egon's granddaughter, and the actress herself was very good.
And also, like I said, I did like it again, going back to the men versus women thing. She's just a good character in her own right. She's not better than Egon. She's not
Yeah.
She's really smart. She fits into that very. I mean, to be honest, it's a cliche we've seen many times, but like I say, she does it well enough. She is super smart and able to figure things out, but she doesn't know everything. And it's not like she can sort out everything on her own because she's just that awesome. It's no, she needs other people. She needs help.
And it's a team as well, because you've got the others in there, and they're equally as useful to the story and everything. They all kind of do their own thing and have an important part. There's not really any of the characters that you could take out of this between the obviously there's a girl, there's her brother, there's their friend Podcast, there's the girl that works at the diner that's kind of the love interest.
The sheriff's daughter as well.
Yeah.
I mean, as in she works at the diner and she's also the sheriff's kid, you find out.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. And also you've got Paul Rudd and you've got the mum as well. I don't think there's any character there that you could just get rid of, and it would, because they all had their own part in this, their own kind of role. I mean, technically, you could with any of them, really, but you'd have to do some pretty big rewriting and reallocating of duties that their characters, their roles performed in the movie. So, which is a good sign, basically, because there's a lot of time you get movies like, I think we've talked in the past about films like Prometheus and so on. It's like there's quite a lot of characters in that. You could just take them out and it wouldn't make the blindest bit of difference, basically. I think we said the same about Star Wars as well, with some of the new Star Wars films.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, certainly some of the later ones, it's like, why is this person even in it?
Yeah,
like, they don't do anything. They don't add anything.
Yeah, so you got some pretty good, solid characters in this. I did appreciate. I mean, I'm not wanting to go there just for the sake of it and having like fulfilling an agenda, but I was really chuffed that this film didn't go down the sort of woke angle. I think there was like one reference to like Gozer being neither male or female, and there's like, oh, that's pretty woke for like whatever. You can take that line in the film either way. You can take that as like a knock against that kind of ideology, or you can take it as an endorsement of it. So that's nothing.
I mean, kind of going back to Spider-Man reviews we did like a while ago, it's like, it's also something that somebody of that age would probably say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that was like, that's the only thing in this film that I can really think. I mean, I know some people say, oh, they've got a female main character. It's like, yeah, because that's something new, isn't it? You know what I mean? Labyrinth, anyone?
It's like, seriously, I can remember the Ghostbusters cartoon that followed on from the real Ghostbusters. Had a female member, nobody gave a shit. Like, seriously,
Yeah.
guys, like, chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Ah!
What? Are you getting a call? Are you there?
Delete me.
What was that?
Never mind, you've missed it.
All right. Oh, well, no, the odd swearing is fine. So I thought you were getting like a phone call or something. No, the odd swearing's fine. It's just not like every other word. It gets a little bit like. So anyway, what else we're going to say? I know today there's been a story, Ghostbusters news. This is kind of a non-story, to be fair. I mean, you're not going to be in the slightest bit surprised here, but the Oscar nominations have been announced, and Ghostbusters didn't get a single one. What a shock! You would have thought maybe for like special effects or something, but
I mean, to be honest, special effects are just the
end of the film.
Well, no, it is usually the one they give out as like, oh, well, we hate this. It's a popular film. Special effects, yes, that's what it.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Because God damn it, like we can't give it like any sort of other like acknowledgement.
yeah. Not that I would say that this is a usual Oscar movie anyway, but the ones that did get it all, it was all like the Disney stuff and the Marvel stuff. The Eternals as well, as like grim and horrible as that movie visually looks. I think that got some recognition there as well in the nominations. But whatever, we don't really give a shit about the Oscars. But that's the latest story I've seen.
Just to say that I will watch most crap, and even I'm like, I can't be asked with Eternals for everything I've heard about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just by contrast to this, anyway. So obviously, going back, we grew up with Ghostbusters. I think after the second one, I don't remember ever anticipating a sequel. I always just kind of took it as being it's just two movies. That's all it'll ever be. It's not something I was rooting for. Then over
Yeah,
the
that
years,
was one slightly strange thing of they just don't really acknowledge like the second film, which I kind of get
yeah,
because this is a continuation of the first one. I don't think they've like taken it out of continuity and stuff.
no,
But it's like, okay, the main thing you're mentioning is that they went up a building and like fought Gozer and the top of the building exploded. You're not even going to mention the time the Statue of Liberty walked across the city. Like, what the hell?
yeah. I think they were just keeping it simple, like you say. They weren't writing it out with continuity. But I noticed that as well. There was some pretty good nods to the not the cartoon, but the toys that were for the cartoon. The real
like the gunner's seat that pops out and stuff.
Yeah, which obviously that was on top in the toy, wasn't it? But there's also the eye popping. I'll tell for jokes aside, the thing that's like it was like a purple kind of like goblin type thing with like a massive eyeball in its forehead that used to, when you squeezed it, the eyeball was on like a piece of string and it just popped out of his forehead. And that is in this. You only see it for like a few seconds, but you see it quite prominently. And that was a nod to the old toys. It was a bit of a random on that as well, because I don't think that was in any of the cartoons. I think it was just a toy that was made for the sake of selling toys. But it was one that people remember. It's one that they brought back recently. You know, they've redone a lot of the old real Ghostbusters figures, like reissued them. That was one of the ones they did for some random reason. But yeah. So we did talk about the box set, didn't we, last week? And got a fair amount of views on that compared to normal, because it was topical, I suppose. But yeah, in the UK we got the Ghost Trap box set, and it doesn't light up like it does in the US. It doesn't have the digital download codes. This is the box set we're talking about. Doesn't have the digital download codes. Also doesn't have slip covers. That was something that I didn't realise in the foreign markets. It does get slip covers. And also somebody was saying, I think somebody in Australia was saying that he wasn't able to get this over there. And he can't get it in the US because those ones actually are sold out. But in the UK, you can still get them. So he's going to have to import it from the UK rather than the US. So he's going to have to, again, pay more for less. So I wasn't too happy about that.
Yeah, like I say, unless you like wanting all the... I mean, even then you could probably just get the Blu-rays cheaper than this box set. So like I say, disappointing.
Yeah. But going back to the specific movie anyway, obviously with the original cast returns, what did you think about that? Did that meet up to your expectations? Were you happy with it?
I was glad, because I thought, like, oh, is it just going to be like they show up for 2 minutes, like, I got a boy kids, and then like go? I was actually kind of glad they do show up to do something.
Yeah. And it was very kind of, they didn't phone it in, I thought. I was worried about Bill Murray. I thought maybe he's gonna like phone it in a little bit, but it's like no, he's exactly, and he still had all the like energy from that he had in the original as well. It was, I know when you watch like The Force Awakens and you've got Harrison Ford, it felt a little bit like he was phoning it in at times. It's like we get it, his character had aged, but it was good with this that Peter Venkman's character was still the same. He had the same level of energy. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it also made sense. Like, okay, well, we beat her before this way. We'll try this again.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you beat her this way before, but she's kind of learned.
Did you like the "Are you a god" bit? It's like, come on, man.
Don't.
Yeah, we had to do that. And yeah, what else was there? What did you think about the stuff with Egon as well? Do you think that was respectfully done?
Yeah, I say. I mean, it was like, oh, you know, they're all getting their ass kicked, but the girl is going to save that. It's like, well, yeah, she's got balls. She's standing up to this thing, but she's also being helped by, you know,
Yeah.
Egon. Like, I liked that. You know, it's like that made sense.
Yeah, and it looked
like, it was
good
pretty
as well.
cool with like the oh damn he's dead, and then it's like oh wait hang on the ghost thing's still chiming. Like, right, I see where they're going with this. Interesting.
Yeah, because I did not think at all that they were going to go there with that. I was surprised he even did the like invisible ghost stuff. But then when they brought him back, because the thing is that it looked good as well, because you're not seeing a CGI person, you're seeing a CGI ghost. So who's to say what's realistic looking or not? It's when like I do with Peter Cushing in Rogue One, and it just looked like a CGI character. It took me out of the movie like totally. I can see what they were trying to do, but it just looked terrible. And compared to what it would have looked like years ago, it looked amazing, but it still looks terrible.
I mean, also, I don't think he would necessarily have objected, because that's why they had the Slimer character in there, because it was like a reference to their friend.
Jim Belushi.
Yeah, so I don't think he would necessarily, you know, it's not out of, you know.
That's a fair point, actually. That's a really good analogy, because it was John Belushi, not Jim Belushi. Wasn't it that
non-name remembering mother thingy.
Yes. I think it's fair to get those two names confused, those two guys.
Well, yeah, of course you would, because you're the one that's done it. Now, if I'd done it, it'd be like, you name remembering.
He is.
But
So,
yeah, go
yeah.
on.
Yeah, no, it's well, I mean, it was a fair kind of thematic bit of continuity from the original one, I suppose. And it would have been to kind of sideline him and just say, oh, he's not in this, he's dead. It would be a bit like what they did with Will Smith in this Independence Day sequel. It's just like, oh no, he's gone. Didn't you get the memo? That's it. You know, forget that character. Kind of sucked. So yeah, I thought it was good. It was very respectful. And then he obviously like goes off to heaven or whatever, and like the stars go up in the sky, and it says for Harold, doesn't it? So I thought that was. You can't say it was disrespectful. That I mean, that was just like hugely. What's the word? Sentimental, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you get to see like one last, of all of them together, even though, like, of course, he's not actually there because he's dead. But
Yeah. And I know people like Dan Aykroyd as well. He believes in ghosts as well, so to him, to a certain degree, that was kind of aligned with reality, I suppose, in some way. But yeah, there was the few bits where you saw Janine as well. Obviously, she's in it at the beginning briefly. For some reason, she looks like Deirdre Barlow out of Coronation Street.
yeah, the one thing I was wondering is, like, it never really goes into like just who, like, the mother is. Like, so I'm getting to the point where I'm like pretty sure, like, okay, so it's nobody we would have heard of, because it's definitely not Janine that he's like had a kid with.
Oh
Which
yeah,
kind of makes sense because she's kind of like hooked up with, or at least
Lewis.
seems to be hooking up with like Lewis Tully at the end of the second one.
Mm.
So it's like, she's clearly talking to somebody. It's like, oh yeah, well we both knew Egon, not like, hi, hey kid, so your
Yeah.
dad's dead,
Yeah. Yeah, I never thought that. It's fair. But I mean, I was kind of thinking like, well, she would have been alive during Ghostbusters 1 and 2 because she's like older than us, I think, isn't she?
Mm.
So like, where was she? I suppose she'll have just been a kid. But obviously there's that, and then there's the post. Well, there's two. There's like a mid-credit scene with Peter Venkman and Dana Barrett as well. He brought in Sigourney Weaver. That was pretty good as well because you still kind of got a bit of the chemistry between the two of them. I thought anyway.
Yeah, with the electric
Yeah,
shock
but
thing.
yeah,
And then
and
there's
then
also the like final like end credit scene, like after the
yeah, we got Winston, and so Janine works for Winston, doesn't she? At this financial company that he's got, and he talks about starting up like a new franchise, I suppose. I don't know where they're going to go with that, if they're going to continue it.
yeah, where it kind of like shows the containment unit and it's like got a red warning light on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd certainly be interesting to see if they do continue this further. I hope they don't spin it off into bloody television programs because that'd be some bullshit. If they're going to do it, stick to the movies. But we'll see. I think the movie did very well anyway. So that's a positive note. But yeah, any other thoughts? We'll have to wrap this up in a couple of minutes.
Nothing major. I mean, like I say, it was respectful. It wasn't just like a quick cash grab they did.
Mm.
Which, like I say, is my like problem with the 2016. It's like, it's not just like, oh, the women. It's like, okay, it was like a really shitty like popcorn flick. But like, I know
Yeah.
you somehow like equated this into your mind as like, it's all important. It's like, no, it was just a shit film. Like, what
It's
the
the
fuck?
Hillary Clinton campaign, is that whole thing. It's her turn. Womankind,
look,
it was bullshit.
all he's really done, like, he's a one trick pony. It's like M. Night Shyamalan and put in like twists at the end of his movies. Like, he does like, yes, this is an established genre, but I'm going to make it all with women this time. It's just for the first time he did it with like an actually established thing rather than just, this is a generic spy thing, but this time it is like, women.
Yeah,
Like,
I
oh no,
didn't
this
mind
time he actually
that.
took something established and did a bit of a shitty job of it.
Yeah, I didn't mind that film, and I thought Melissa McCarthy had her moments in it. It's just she's does the same thing. She's just, hi, I'm really fat and I'm gonna fall over. Laugh at me, you know. That tends to be her thing, but she does have moments, but she's not overall somebody I'm a big fan
I'm
of.
not saying the other films he's done are crap. It's just he's a bit of a one-trick pony. Like M. Night Shyamalan did some good films before he kind of like disappeared up his own butt for a while. Although I think he has done some decent stuff more recently.
Yeah, Split and Glass were okay. I thought they were pretty good. But
I've not watched it, but that one with like the found footage is supposed to be like quite decent as well.
Oh yeah,
Visit to the granny. Like,
fair enough.
I think it's actually both grandparents. Like,
we'll wrap this up anyway. So we're going to do a video maybe next week, following on from the Hellraiser video we did, where we were talking about the Tofu Whitefoot, the Bluefoot lament configuration. We've got another item coming, and I'll tell you about that next week when we get the thing, when we do the review. But yeah, this Ghostbusters video, it's kind of a continuation. It started late 2019 when we talked about the trailer, and then last Halloween we did a video talking about the Ghostbusters franchise for Halloween night, and then we did a couple of videos last week talking about the box set. So this is and I did my own spoiler reviews back in November for the new film. So this is kind of the last of those videos for now, anyway. You can view them all on the channel if you go to the playlist section on Brand X Reviews. There's a playlist page in there, and I've got them in sort of kind of sequential order. I'll add this to that as well. But yeah, one last thing as well. We have got some birthdays coming up next week, so if we don't get a chance, we'll throw the birthday messages out now. We've got Paul and Lucy Cage, who've got a birthday coming up. It's Lucy's 30th. And it's also Buff's birthday. Buff, you nut. On the 13th, I think, is Buff's birthday. So that means we have to get out the birthday pants.
Definitely unlucky for Buff.
Yep, you can see these are Topher's birthday pants. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here because he's in prison. But he left us his pants, and I think he's losing a bit of weight looking at this. I mean, look at just the scale. I mean, look at the size of that. I mean, that's up against the side of my hip. Look at that. That's just bloody hell, Topher. And a shout out to the Buff. His dad's not been very well, so we'll wish your dad the best of getting back to health. Any comments on that from the core?
Well, he did say we can keep making the Topher jokes, so thank you, Buff. Without your permission, we would have definitely stopped. We would not have kept on going.
Exactly.
So very big of you.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I'll cut this video short. It's dragging on a bit. It's going to take ages to render on my crappy phone. But yeah, that's the thing. If you want to see our review of the Ghostbusters box set, well, it wasn't even a review, was it? Really, we're just kind of talking about some of the negatives. But it was, other than that, the extras that you get on here are pretty good. Which is very expensive for what it is in the UK.
I don't think this is going to. Like I say, if you're not a fan, I don't think you're going to get anything out of this one.
And you know, on a final note, do you know what hardcore Ghostbusters fans are called? Well, we are nuts about the franchise, and it's Ghostbusters, so we are called Bust Nuts. So that's what we are. We are Bust Nuts, unlike the Buff, who's just a buff nut. Right. Yeah, I think that pretty much signifies the end of the video now. So yeah, Brand X Reviews. Like and subscribe. I think that's pretty much all I can end it on. And come back next week because we're going to be doing a Hellraiser related video if me and the Core can get together to do that. I'll let you say bye, Core.
Yeah.
Right. See y'all later. Bye.